Let me just, like, do I even want to switch it? I think are we live right
Yeah,
now?
we're live.
Okay.
It says
We
four
are,
seconds.
yeah, okay, we are live. Hold on. Guys, Jocelyn, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. My name is Josselyne Herman Saccio, and I am a master coach. I've been coaching people for 39 years in how to live the life of their dreams, not chase their dreams. And I coach Lauren. So we work together. We've been working together a long time in different ways. But right now I am committed to you elevating your performance in every area of your life, from your finances to your well-being, to your relationships, to your career, everything. And I have
My garage.
yes, I have the privilege of being able to make that difference with you.
Yes, and you make such a huge difference with so many people. So I wanted to share you to my audience. We just we're on my other platforms, but we're talking about your next course that's coming up, and then you have a free holiday course that's coming up, which is really cool. And you're just so big, like you're doing so many things. You're managing, you're like podcasting.
Trying to get as many people in the world of being unmessable with as possible. That's my whole game, is that people have the tools to live the life of their dreams now, not someday, and be unmessable with no matter what life throws at them, because life does throw stuff at us. You know, whether it's not getting a job that you auditioned for, or, you know, the stock market tanking on one day, or, you know, losing a loved one. Like I just lost my mom last month, and you know, just all sorts of things life throws at you. So how do you stay true to what you really want to create and not get stuck in that world of reaction and upset and being thrown off course? And that's really what my whole life is for.
And I don't know how you juggle it all.
Doesn't feel like juggling to me. It's more like I design my life, and you and I have had this conversation. I design my life, and I use my calendar as my canvas, and I design what I want it to look like. So I'll stand a year out and I'll say, what do I want my life to look like at the end of 2026? And I will design it and then backwards plan how to have it look like that. And then I take the actions to fulfill on that. So I'm always in either creation and fulfillment of what I created, or pivoting out of reaction so that I can get to creation and fulfillment of what I'm creating.
That's yeah. I don't know how like, so what are your tips about pivoting out of reaction? We were just talking about this before, but I want any tips we can get about getting out
Yeah.
of this.
The first thing is you got to be aware that you're in it. You know, sometimes people don't catch themselves, so they end up spiraling down a, you know, a long and winding road, so to speak, right? Because you have a thought like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. And then you have a thought, well, I shouldn't be reacting to it this way. And then you have a thought, well, they shouldn't be reacting. And now you're in a world of being messable with. So if you can catch it early enough, like find the signs, I call them red flags, either the red flags in language, like linguistic red flags, like what you say in your head or out loud, or the physical red flags, like how does your body respond when you are in that world of reaction? Do you get a tight chest? Do you get a tight stomach? Does your neck turn red? So if you can catch those signs, you can interrupt them and then go to your pre-created vision, which a lot of the work that we do together is designing your vision. I'm called a vision architect, because I work with people to design what they really want for their life, not just in goals, but the space and experience they want in their life.
And there's worksheets, which I love worksheets.
Worksheets galore. In fact, I'm writing a book this coming year, and there's going to be a accompanying workbook. So
Oh, I'm
just for
excited.
people like you, exactly, that love workbooks.
Yeah. I love worksheets. It makes me feel like I don't like filling them out on the computer because that stresses me out, but I'll print it out. I like having like a printed copy.
Well, this will
That's
be a workbook you can buy and have shipped to you from Amazon, and you can fill it all out and everything.
that's awesome. And now you've written other books too, right? Because I remember going to a book launch party of yours years ago.
Oh, that's right. That was the Promise Effect. So I've written a few. Actually, it's right behind me. The Promise Effect. I've written Peace Promises, which is a 30-day program to have more peace in your life at all different levels. So if you're really committed to peace, that's something you can find that on Amazon. Then the Promise Effect has more of a melange of promises. So like one day it's to create courage, another day maybe to create self-expression. So it's different promises that access certain spaces. And then I wrote a book for actors called So You Want to Be a New York Actor. That was quite a while ago. But again, they're all 3 on Amazon. So they are gettable, and ebooks and all of that stuff.
They're free on Amazon?
No, they're not. I
Oh,
think you can get a Kindle version maybe for free of some of them. But if you want peace promises on my website, you can download it for free. So on my freebies page, you can get peace promises for free.
Awesome. Now somebody asked, what's this live stream about? I think it's how to be unmessable with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're doing a free workshop, a coaching workshop for having an unmessable with holiday season, because it's such a time of year where people get hooked and irritated, and somebody doesn't pass them the potatoes at Christmas dinner, and they're like, you never did, and all the stuff from the past comes up. So I designed a free holiday coaching workshop to help people design a holiday that really is a fulfillment of what they really want, not what their moods just kind of hook them into throughout the circumstances. So that's happening Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern. It's an hour. It's free. Everybody's invited, to be there and get the tools to be unmessable with, not just at the holiday season, but it'll help you in the holiday season, but onward and, beyond that.
Now, a question I have is, I know that there is the completion that we talked about in group. Now, let's say that there's somebody at that holiday dinner that you feel like you're incomplete with, but if you try to get complete with, it's going to start a problem. What do you recommend for that?
I recommend creating a vision, like I did when my mother passed, for the last week of her life. I created this space that I was committed to creating, which is peace and love and dignity. Now, I knew there were going to be potential situations during that week where I would get irritated by either family members or dealing with the cremation home or whatever, I just knew this is a situation where I could be messable with. So I pre-created that space so that all my actions were in a dance with fulfilling on that, versus just kind of getting like a leaf in the wind, like somebody says something and I just get hooked. So if you know that you are going into a situation with someone that you already know that a messable with moment is coming, if you pre-create a space, you can stay true to that. It's kind of like if you're a sailor and you go out on the sea and there's going to be a storm, you better know what your heading is so that you can keep truing yourself up to that heading. And the heading is really your vision and what you created with your word. And the word is a big tool that I use with people to be unmessable with, because ultimately, if your word is unmessable with, then you are. That's the way that goes. And the minute you say X and then reasons come in and now you do Y, now you're messable with. It's your word that's ultimately the mechanism that you can develop the muscle with to be unmessable with. So creating a space with that person, like being forgiving. My daughter did that this season. There was somebody that she knew she has issues with. So she created being forgiving and at peace. And she just kept going there every time something, and lots of things happened. But she was like, forgiving and at peace, forgiving and at peace.
I guess that's what I'm going to have to keep telling myself.
Exactly. Steal hers. It worked pretty well,
Yes. And then the other thing we had talked about on my other stream, and something I've had an issue with, is if stuff is going on in my life, how do I handle it and not get messed with? And you talked about a hack. Can you explain the hack?
Yeah. Well, first you got to be conscious of that you're in that world, because you can't hack it if you don't know you're there, right? It's kind of like if you're driving and you don't know you're in Jersey, but you wanted to be in New York, you can't turn around if you don't know you're in Jersey, right? So you've got to be able to see where you are. Which world are you in? Are you in the world of reaction? And that's where you come up with these red flags, like what's happening in your body, or what are the things you say out loud or in your head that indicate that you're over there. Like for me, when I say, and I say this a lot, so it's like I can catch myself a lot, is what is wrong with these people? Like when I say that, then like I'm in line someplace, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? I know I'm in the world of reaction. So I have to, reroute. Then you want to do something to interrupt that brain pattern, because what's actually happening, Lauren and everybody, is it's a physical thing that's happening in your brain where your amygdala fires, which is the part of your brain that is the survival part of your brain. So it's like you're going to fight or freeze or flee. And that's the world of reaction. So unless you physically interrupt that brain pattern and bring your thinking to the prefrontal cortex, which is where creative, rational thought happens, you're just going to end up trying to get relief from your reaction, which keeps you in the world of reaction. So I recommend that people do something physical to hack it. So whether it's like go like this or snap a rubber band, or some people like squeeze their thighs so you could do it on Zoom and nobody would know that you're doing it, but something physical. And you can do breathing is a simple one, but you know, you're always breathing. So I don't love that one, but if you do intentional breathing, like breathe in for 4 and out for 6 or something like that, you can interrupt it and get to neutral for like a second. And then you go to your pre-created vision. Because in the heat of the moment, if you haven't created a vision, you're screwed, because you're not going to be able to create it on the fly. That's why it's important to do the work to invent a vision in the world of creation and word, so that you have another road to go down in those moments when you know that something's going to happen. Or even if you don't know that something's going to happen, but you hack it and go to the other world.
Now, have you always had it all figured out? Like, it seems like you have it all figured out. So
Well, you know, when I first started doing transformative workshops myself, like as a participant, I was 11. So that's 47 years ago. So I have 47 years of exercising these muscles. And I've been leading programs since I was 19. So that's, you know, 39 years of leading and coaching people. So if you think about it, if you do anything for that long, you become masterful at it. And I've done it not just casually, I've done it like as my life's work. So I spend most of my waking hours designing pathways for people to live their dreams and, you know, be unmessable with. So it's very much like my whole life.
wow. And now, when you had your number one song and you were in Boy Crazy, were you coaching people still, or
I
were you
was.
wow.
I was coaching people since I was 19. I didn't have my number one song till I was like 22-ish.
Wow.
Yeah, I was getting trained in transformation before I realized myself the limiting belief that was keeping me from being a singer, because I wanted to be a singer since I was 4, but I thought it wasn't possible to do your art as your career. And that was like the truth. It wasn't a thought I had or a belief. It was really the truth. And that's what happens for people with transformation, is they see these limiting beliefs that they have considered to be real and the truth and solid, and they become malleable and actually sometimes just disappear. So I was in a transformative workshop myself at like 20 or 21, and I saw that that was not the truth. And it was a belief I had since I was 5. I mean, you know, the infinite wisdom of 5, and I just believed it. And then within 3 weeks, I had a record deal after disappearing that belief.
Wow, that is amazing. That is
It was a miracle. And that's when I said, if I could do this in such a short period of time by implementing these tools, then anybody could. So I got really committed to making sure that people had the tools, because people deserve to have their dreams come true, and people deserve to be unmessable with. You don't have to be a leaf in the wind of your reactions. You don't have to be. You just have to develop the muscle of being able to design your life, not default to your reactions.
now 11 years old. Was it one of your parents that were like made you sign up, or your mom or your dad? Who said you had to sign up?
My parents were separated. And, you know, at that, this is a kind of a fun story. My father was having an affair with Elizabeth Taylor, of all people. And then my parents got separated, and we were living in LA for like a year and a half. And then my mother did a program called the S Training, which was way back in the 70s. It was kind of the first transformative workshop. So she did that. And coming out of that, she became unmessable with. It was like anything she said came true. She was like, I'm taking the girls back to New York. My father's like, no way, you can't take them unless you get a job and you get an apartment in the PS6 district and you get an apartment for less than $600 a month and blah, 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 blah. He was kind of a bully back then. And then she went to New York, and 2 weeks later came back and said, I got a job. I got an apartment in the last block of the PS6 district, and it's $585 a month. So it was like she was magic. It was like she was able to use her word like a wand. So for me, I was like, what is that? And then a year later, my dad did it, and they got back together. And they celebrated 66 years together, just as she passed just a month ago. So it's 66 years because of transformative work. So
Wow.
they had a kids program, and I said, can I do it? I mean, if this did this for you guys, I want some of that. It was kind of like that Harry Met Sally. It's like, I want what she's having. And so I was fortunate enough to get the tools to really live a life of possibility, not reasons and justifications way back then. And it's shown up in my results. I mean, it's like I have a miraculous life. Any dream I ever had, I have had come true.
Wow.
Bar
That's
none.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And you have like the perfect relationship. Like it's just anyone who wants. I know you do a lot of relationship coaching because one of the girls in the group told us how you got her pregnant and married. I don't know.
Well, not personally pregnant, but yes, I definitely do a lot of work in relationships. My husband and I just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. We've been together 31 and a half years. We've had 5 fights in 31 and a half years. And that is directly through using the tools that I train people in. I mean, it's definitely that methodology. There's
Did
no
he
question.
take the workshop too, or like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did, and so did my kids. And if you really want to speak fluent French, you want everybody around you speaking French. So everybody in my family, pretty much almost everybody, has participated in some form of transformative work, and it's a blessing to be able to have people that are up to having a life that they design, not one that they default to.
Mhm. Well, I am very, very excited. We were talking about where to sign up for your free workshop, which I should have posted this sooner. Let me see if, it's not letting me post.
Yeah, I gave you the link. I don't know if you still
I
have it.
know.
Yeah.
Do you still see me if I do that?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. All right. I just have to recall. I shut down the computer because I was having, see, that's what happens to me, Jocelyn, is like, I know I'm like, Jocelyn does, she's on top of her game. I can't be late. I can't, and I get in my head, I can't be late. And then I'm like, I get like panicky. I'm like, I'm gonna be late. I know I'm gonna be late. And then I'm early, but then for some reason, then something will happen. Like, I don't know. Is that like,
Yeah, well, you're an actor. You like drama. You like drama. I would just invite you to have the drama happen in the auditions and on the screen instead of in your life, because drama is optional.
how do I get rid of the drama in my life? That's the question.
Well, you want to look at some level, you have a payoff out of having things be dramatic or chaotic. So there's something you get out of that, because human beings don't do things that they don't get something out of. So if you're doing something recurringly and it's like unwanted, that you say it's unwanted, then at some point you've got to look at, okay, well, what am I getting out of doing it this way? Because there's some payoff. And then conversely, there's a cost. Like, what does it cost you? Your peace of mind, your well-being, your sense of ease, all that stuff. And when the cost gets bigger than the payoff, just like an addict, then you give up the addiction, But until you hit bottom, you're just going to keep doing it because you know how to survive by doing that stuff. Drama is like your water, like the water to the fish. Drama is to Lauren as water is to the fish.
So I just need to figure out how to stop. It's like every time.
Or just have it really occur for you as intolerable. Because until it occurs as like it's costing you something, as long as you think you can kind of get through life doing it that way, you probably will. It's kind of like, if I know I can eat cheesecake and get away with not gaining weight, but if I eat a bite of cheesecake and I gain 10 pounds the next day, I will stop eating freaking cheesecake because the cost is too much.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I've lost a lot of relationships because of it. Like, a lot of people are just like, they're like, I don't want to deal with this, and I'm just like, it's just, oh.
Well, part of it is seeing the cost, but then you've got to create an alternative, like I'm saying about that world of vision, because if you don't have another road to go down, all you have is the muscle memory of Drama Town. So you're going to get flicked back by default into that world of drama or reaction or chaos and all that stuff. So you have to build the new world, and that takes discipline, because you've got to actually put practices in place. I mean, that's what all my work is about. I have a new workshop happening in January, as you and I were, that you're in, called Word Boot Camp, which is literally a 5-week intensive on how to build that muscle of your word and designing and creating versus defaulting and reacting and dramatizing. So that'll be good for you. That'll give you a gym to work out with in terms of.
Well, I wish I was like your mom and fixed everything in one workshop.
Yeah, well, it was an ongoing thing, but she was definitely the matriarch of transformation in our life. And she was the original Unmessable with, as far as I'm concerned. There was nobody. And, in the last 20 years of her life, she had a stroke. She broke her pelvis. She broke her hip. She, had all sorts of things happen, emergency surgeries. She had dementia. And she kept creating no matter what. It could make me cry because she was so the space of what I do. She was like from nothing. She just created. And I'd say, how you doing, Mom? She's like, not bad for an old broad. It's like she had hardly any teeth at the end, as you know. And it just, she was always just in the space of what's possible. It was really moving. I got trained by the best.
Yeah, you're so lucky to have a good family. That's something, it's just like I see people and I'm just like, it makes you really feel grateful. You're like, so, it's just you're very lucky.
Nothing more important and nothing that I'm more thankful for,
Yes, but anyway, I am getting teary. But
Me
so
too.
excited about your class coming up. It's this Wednesday, so
the
link
free
is
one.
right
Everybody
there.
come. You're going to get tools. If you can't make it live, sign up for it. You'll get a replay so you can watch it at your leisure, but it'll help you so much this holiday season and beyond the holiday season. It's tools you can use at any time, but specifically the holidays are like a breeding ground for messable with moments, from waiting online to go see the tree, to do this, to, be with your family and all the people that you can't stand. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll support you for sure.
Yes, and also your podcast that was in the top streams on Spotify, which is amazing. So
I
congrats
can't
about
believe
that.
top 15% of Spotify podcasts. That's insane to me. I just found out today. So that's exciting. So yeah, but we're on Apple we're everywhere you get your podcast, YouTube. We're on YouTube. So Be Unmessable With is the name of the podcast. And we do 2 episodes a week. One, just me talking about how to be unmessable with, and then a guest interview where I interview people like Lauren. She was one of my very first interviews of my 160 something episodes. You were, I think, the first or second one. So a pioneer.
Yes, a pioneer of your podcast.
Yes, the podcast pioneer.
But definitely, guys, if you have an issue, check out Josselyne's stuff. She has so many videos and free things on her website. So if you go on her website, there's a bunch of different like handouts and like recorded
video workshops, hour-long workshops, just tip sheets. I have a ton of things that are free or even low cost, like $10, $20. Like I have things for you to play with if you get into the world of it and you really want to develop yourself. There's lots of ways to do it.
Yes, and finally, I know we promoted this a couple of times, but the Word workshop coming in March.
No, that's coming January 14th. It's called Word Boot Camp, and that's the website, wordbootcamp.com. Although if you go to my website, it's everywhere on there too. But to keep it simple, wordbootcamp.com, and that is 5 weeks of working live with me on Zoom every week. There's no other way cheaper to work with me for 5 weeks. It's $397 to have me for 5 weeks is like a tiny fraction of what it would normally cost to work with me. So if you have even a thought, like I want to test this whole thing out, do it, because you will get muscle with your word to be able to create what you really want in your life, whether it's doubling your income or intimacy in your marriage or anything that you want. It's really gonna give you the tools to fulfill on it.
Yes, so I'm excited about this, but guys, definitely Wednesday I will be there. So if you want to join and see what a coaching session is like, definitely check it out. Follow Josselyne and help her grow her brand and see what, maybe you can find out what messes with you.
Yes, and share it with anybody who you think could use it, which is everyone. Everyone gets messed with. I don't care if they're a high performer, low performer, everybody gets messable with.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jocelyn. Thank you for joining and,
Thank you for having me always.
prayers. Yes.
I love you so much. I'll see you Wednesday.
Love you too. See you Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.